Hi ladies, I found this video from actually the year before last, Dana Point race, and I wanted to use it to walk you through not only our current stroke, but how Connie and I assess your stroke at practice and some of the terminology that we're going to use. So I want to make it clear that the point of this review is not to pick on anybody. I really am just using this footage because it's something that I have, and it's a good example of both our stroke and how we are going to be making corrections. All right, so let's get started. All right, to talk about our current stroke, I'm actually going to focus in on Mawani, who was sitting seat 2 at this particular race. And let's see. I did want to make clear that this year we're not planning on changing the stroke. We've been teaching the same stroke for the last 2 years, and the main difference this year is that we're going to put a hard focus on getting everybody in the boat to blend together. I know we've mentioned it before, but this year we really are going to focus on that. We need everybody to blend and get the same stroke going so that we're not fighting each other, so that we get power in the same spot, and so that we can make sure that the boat moves as smoothly as possible. All right, so again, let's focus in on Mawani to talk about the stroke. All right, now that we are frozen, I can show you. Let's take a look at Mawani's top hand. It's braced firmly against the paddle. You can see that her palm is bracing the backside, and then her hand is actually closed over the top of the paddle. Her bottom hand, is choked up just a little bit. She's about one hand above the top of the blade. And what that is going to allow her to do is when we get into the stroke later on, you're going to see that her hand travels just across the top of the water. All right, you are going to notice Mawani's body positioning. She is hinged forward. She's hinged forward. There's not a lot of twist. She's bent at her lower back. She's reaching forward, and then she has dropped her lower lat right here. And that's going to allow her to get a nice strong catch. So that blade is going to come in nice and strong into the water right here as, let's see, go backwards right here, into the water, nice strong catch. You can see again right here, she drops her lat. The paddle makes strong contact with the water. And then she's going to pull straight back with that hand just above the water line. All right, I've rewinded it just a little bit to look one more time. Again, hinged forward, top hand locked in, bottom hand choked up slightly. Through the stroke, she drops her lat. She pulls her hand through just above the water line. And then you'll see right here a nice strong exit. So as she comes out, she exits just behind her hip. Paddle comes out of the water, and she pushes off the back to jump forward to start the next stroke. So there we go again. We're coming through, nice and strong through the water, powers all the way through, exits, and then she pushes off the back to start that next stroke. Right there, that's what we're referring to with push the bush. So you come back, you jump off the back, you go to the front, and you start that next stroke. All right, now we're going to look at a couple of other issues going on in the boat. And so this is going to be, again, not to pick on anybody. It's just because it's footage I have. But we're going to look at some issues going on right behind Mawani. All right, so first we're going to look in right here. So you can actually see Mona sitting behind Mawani. And rather than just rather than just a hinge going on at her back, you can actually see there's actually a big twist here. So you see this big twist here, and she's reaching a little bit too far forward. And this year we're really focusing on, just the hinge, dropping that lat. We're not going to twist because that tends to cause a little bit more injury. And again, we're all trying to get on the same page for the stroke. All right, then we're going to look at Christy, and again, this was a very early race, and so let me find a good spot. All right, so in Christy's stroke, I'm actually just going to show you right here at the front. So when we tell you in practice, if you're slipping on the catch, so watch right here. All right, so you look right here, look at the front of her blade, and as she reaches all the way forward, that's the front of her stroke. That's where she should be catching, but it actually doesn't make contact with the water until back here. So she's lost about 4 inches at the front of that stroke. So if she could just extend this arm a little bit and then bring this one down, you get a nice strong catch right there. And you can just get rid of this front part. If that was not confusing enough with all of those circles, then let's walk through it, get into that next stroke. And we're going to show right here, again, all the way at the front. It's the front of her reach. Again, oh, actually, sorry. The front of her reach didn't go far enough, is right there. By the time she hits the water, again, we've lost a couple inches at the front. All right, so let's keep going through here. And then on this next stroke, I'm going to pause it right at the back. Boom, right there. Oops. Missed it a little bit. Let's go back one. Okay, so right here on this stroke, we're coming a little too far back. So if you remember, Moani was exiting just behind her hip. We've got this paddle coming a little too far back. I've actually just repositioned the video, and you're going to see that's happening here as well. Oops, right here as well. So as we come through, we're exiting a little far back here, and you can kind of see that with this front hand. It's dropped all the way to be level with the boat. If we look, oops, let's see, let's get all that out of there. And okay, sorry for all the skipping around, but here you go. Let's watch that from start to finish. Here you go. See if you guys can catch it. There's full speed. I'm going to slow it down a little bit so we can kind of watch it walk through. And you can see, again, Mona's got a little too much reach there. So we're reaching a little bit too far forward. On this view, you can actually really see her chest getting exposed, which is showing that she's really twisting. And then for Christy, we don't have quite enough reach. She's not quite dropping her elbow far enough out, so we're getting a little slip. And then V at the back, her paddle's exiting a little bit too late. She's coming too far back, and with that top hand dropping all the way down to the boat, you're actually losing power at the back of that stroke. Let me speed up and get it to the other side. So here, you can see right about there, you're going to lose all your power. So let's see. Oh, this one. Right about here, you're going to see kind of all that power end. And as the paddle comes out, you're going to kind of run out of power at the end of that stroke. All right, again, ladies, really not trying to pick on anybody here. I really appreciate everybody in this video, and this was a wonderful race. So thanks again for listening, and I hope that helped with some of the terminology that we'll be using for this year's practice. Anyway, thanks, ladies. Go KAHAKAI.